Welcome back to the channel, my brothers, or welcome to the channel if this is your first time. My name's Andy R, and this is the Brotherhood of Men, and today I want to talk to you. Why do women avoid truth bullets like it's Neo in the Matrix avoiding normal bullets? Why do they not take on the facts as they are stated, and instead are so adamant that they are right, despite the facts? Well, let's get into the video. Yes, women will quite literally argue facts with you. They will quite literally argue against the evidence. But why do that? Why is it that a woman will dodge and weave like a top-rate boxer, avoiding those truth punches, those truth bullets that are being fired at them, and in the end will come to the conclusion, well, I don't believe in that fact, leaving you nowhere to go because the facts are the facts? I have a theory on this. Now, I get asked a lot by women often in real life, where do you get your facts from, Andy? Well, the simple fact is there isn't a one-stop shop for all of the facts. They come from many and varied different sources. So some of them are more reliable. For instance, data that comes from governments, from the courts, etc., are more reliable. So I will gather this data from the American CDC. That's the Centre for Disease Control. It's not just gathering evidence on diseases. It gathers evidence on lifestyle. It gathers evidence on behavioural patterns, because all of these help them in deciding on what's the best action when something like, say, a disease sprouts its ugly head. I get them from the British ONS, Office of National Statistics, a whole government department geared up just for statistical analysis. I get it from census reports. Most countries do a census every 10, 11 years, depending on countries, some less time than that, a lot of them around about that. So that gives you a lot of information on the population, the makeup of the population, ethnicity, it gives you lifestyle, etc., etc., all self-reported by the people who answer the census reports. So that's a great source of information from the courts, so you can find out the type of people that are going through the court system, and not just the regular criminal courts, but also the family courts or the divorce courts. So you have a plethora of information about who, one, is filing for divorce, two, the amount of time married, how many times married, how many times divorced, etc., etc., as well as their socio-economic background. You can find a lot of the information through sociological and scientific reports that appear in journals that have been peer-reviewed, so therefore they have validity. Psychiatrist reports, etc., 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 doctors' report, all of these things readily available. And I go through quite a lot of effort to make sure that what I'm saying is, one, factually correct, and two, the results that I come to, my opinion, are based on those facts, not just flights of fancy. So when I say women go to great lengths to avoid these truth bullets, quite literally, like I said, acting like Neo in the Matrix, bobbing and weaving like a top-rate boxer to avoid being hit by the truth, but they will quite happily swallow down a sweet-tasting lie as though it's the greatest ambrosia in the world. Why do that? Because ultimately, at the end of the day, the only person these women are lying to is themselves. The simple reason, or at least my opinion on this, is that a truth is going to have to be dealt with. You're going to have to deal with the truth, as ugly as it is. And a woman doesn't want to have to deal with the truth. But a lie that allows you to forgive yourself for anything you've done is so much easier to swallow. You see, men have to deal with the truth on a day-to-day basis. We know as men from little boys that we've had to deal with the truth. The truth of the matter is, for a man, if he thinks he's all that, if he thinks he's the big I am, and he's not, there's nothing to back that up, other men will soon put him in his place, and women will as well. And he will find himself on his back foot and realise that he has to change himself, his life, to be all that. A man will find very quickly that if he hasn't got something to back up his chat, hasn't got something to back up his brags, isn't lying to himself, he has to face those realities and make something of himself. But women aren't tarred with that same brush. An average woman will convince herself that she is a 10. There are no 10s. I've said this many times and in many videos. Not men or women, there are no 10s. For the simple reason a 10 is perfect. No changes need to be made. No improvement can be made. That's what it means to be a 10. So there are no 10s because everybody can improve. Everybody can make their life better for themselves, male or female. But men know that they have to achieve something. They have to build something of themselves to be attractive. Attractive to other men, as in a friend, somebody of worth, who is noted and who is seen by other men as, this guy has built something for himself, I need to listen to him to build something for myself. But also attractive to the opposite sex. You see, women are always looking for a guy who's got purpose, who's got goals, who's got plans for his life. They want to jump onto a guy's ship who knows where he's steering it. But if you use the same logic with women and say, well, you need to make yourself attractive to a man, up in arms. Why? Why should I change? I'm the goal. I'm the prize. Well, no, you're not the prize, ladies, because the prize for men is, 1, being fit. Actively looking like you're taking care of yourself. You're not massively overweight or underweight. Guys are attracted to sexually beautiful women, curves all in the right places, but not overly emphasised. Women tend to think that a man should have to accept them no matter what they look like, no matter how they behave, no matter how toxic they come across to a man, no matter what they say to a man, you're supposed to just accept her. And when you say, no, I have preferences, these are the things that generally men find attractive, and you're not fulfilling any of those needs, then come out the usual arguments. First of all, you will get the Nawalt argument. Not all women are like that. Well, nobody said all women are like anything. I've never said it. I say generally, most women, modern women. I use generalities. I use that because it's shorthand. So when I say women do so and so, I'm never saying all women behave this way, because there are always exceptions to the rule. But women will go to those exceptions as though that's the rule. That's another point they will go to, exceptions to the rule, whilst trying to ignore the rule. It's a fallacy, it's ridiculous. Then you will hear the other arguments. Well, where are you getting your facts from? And as I've said, my facts come from many and varied sources, but all of them are easily checkable. Easily for you, my brothers out there, or anyone watching this video, to go onto the internet and check what I'm saying is true. I also get the, just as well as the Nawalt argument, I also get the whataboutisms. There is an epidemic of whataboutisms from women, always trying to move the goalpost to prove a point that they can't prove. So you have to do the whataboutisms, slightly move the goalpost and then try and win that argument, not the fact that was first brought out. I will give you a perfect example of this. In one of my videos I was talking about how the wall comes for all women. And in that I said at the age of 35 a woman enters geriatric pregnancy, which is factually correct. I got a comment from a woman saying, where are you getting your information from? Women at 35 can have babies and do have babies, and it's different for different ethnicities and blah 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 blah. At no point in the fact that I gave of geriatric pregnancy did I say once that women can't get pregnant after 35. I just said that at 35 all women enter into a period known as geriatric pregnancy. This is medically correct. This comes from the midwiferys. This comes from the School of Midwifery. And you can look it up yourself on Google, all countries, all areas, all women enter geriatric pregnancy at the age of 35. Now that doesn't mean that after 35 a woman can't get pregnant. It doesn't mean that she's not going to have live births. It doesn't mean anything other than at 35, according to midwifery, that is classed as geriatric pregnancy, because they know beyond the age of 35 women are more likely to have more complications, shall we say, medical emergencies even. After 35, she's going to find it harder to get pregnant. Not that she can't get pregnant, or not that she'll just fall pregnant straight away. I said as a rule, not the exceptions. She will probably have more problems during pregnancy. Again, as a general rule, not in all cases. She is more likely to miscarry after 35. All of these are provable facts, but this woman was so adamant to change the goalposts to win an argument she couldn't win. So I once again wrote that in reply to her comment that all women at the age of 35 will enter into geriatric pregnancies. At no point did I say that women can't get pregnant, or that it was, they weren't going to have through their pregnancy, wasn't just going to sail through. Those are the exceptions to the rule. But she wouldn't have it. Like every woman that seems to be out there, and once I said every woman, and there are women out there who will accept the truth and the facts. She wanted to argue with me, and she wanted to do it by changing the goalposts, until in the end I wrote back saying, you're changing the goalposts, you're using the Nawalt argument, not all women are like that, you're trying to go to exceptions rather than the rule, and I'm not going to argue with you, because a wise man once said, do not argue with idiots. They will just drag you down to their standard and beat you with experience. And that's true. You do not argue with idiots. And a woman who's trying to change the goalposts, who's trying to do the Nawalt argument, who's trying to do the whataboutisms, or any of those neat little tricks to try and be right, using sign language. Sign, S-I-G-N. Shame, insult, guilt, and most importantly, the need to be right. But why does she need to be right? Why not just accept the facts? For the simple reason it comes down to the woman code, the girl code, the female code, whichever way you want to word it. But it goes something like this. A woman should not criticise or stand against another woman in an argument. Why? For the simple reason she might be on the receiving end of an argument about these things at some future point, and she'll expect the women to come and defend her. So if she criticises a woman, she's going to get dogpiled on by other women when it looks like she's losing an argument. So the girl code says, defend women at all costs. Never mind what they're saying is complete nonsense. Now, a frightening statistic is that 70% of women file for divorce in the divorce courts. Now, I've been using that statistic quite a lot, but in actual fact, I was wrong. Yes, it's not the right statistic. It's outdated, that statistic is, because I recently found out it's closer to 80% of women file for divorce. 80% of women, it's actually a little bit lower than, but it's closer to 80 than it is to 70. That figure goes up if the woman is college or university educated, depending on which country you come from. In America, they call it college educated. Here in Europe, we tend to call it university educated. If a woman's university educated, it's 90% of those women are filing for divorce. You tell a woman this, her instant reaction is, men need to do better. All I've just said is I've given a statistic that shows that women are the ones ruining their marriages. They are the ones going to the divorce courts. It's not men leaving the marriages, otherwise that statistic would be 80% men filing. No, men are not the ones leaving the marriage, it's the women. They are filing at nearly 80% of the time, and if they're university educated, 90% of the time. So that proves 2 points. One, women are the ones destroying their marriages. And two, as soon as they're called out on it, it's men who have to change, but they're not the ones leaving the marriage. It's ridiculous. They will argue the toss. You get this in that double standard where if a man cheats on a woman, all of her friends are calling him a dog, he's a loser, he ain't crap, all of the rest of the things that, he cheated on, she was right to get rid of him. But if the woman in the marriage cheats on the man, her friends are defending her. They're going, I wonder what he did to make her leave the marriage. You see, in both occasions, they always hold the man responsible. This is why men will accept facts and statistics and data that's presented to them, because a logical brain can instantly see whether it's true. First of all, whether it sounds true. Two, if it doesn't sound true, they can look it up. And third, once they've looked it up or accepted it as truth, they can move forward with new knowledge. Whereas a woman will argue the toss against the basic statistics. That was just one statistic I was giving you. 80% of women file for divorce, 90% if they're university/college educated. Yet you give a woman those information and she will argue against it. Men need to do better. Why? We're not the ones leaving the marriage. Second part of that is, all again, information that's easily upable. That's not a word, look upable, are easy to look up, is the fact that the amount of time a marriage lasts now. It's extremely short. Marriages tend to last around 7 years. The 7-year itch is a real thing. And in the past, where men and women would work through the 7 years to become a longer term relationship, nowadays they're using 7 years and going, I want out of the marriage. The reason most of this happens is that if you keep allowing women to make bad decisions, to do things without consequences, funnily enough, they will carry on making bad decisions and doing things hoping there are no consequences. Men have grown up their whole lives realising straight away that they are going to be held accountable for their decisions. They are going to be held responsible for the bad things they do. This is beaten into men quite literally from when they were little boys. Whereas women are constantly forgiven their ills, their bad behaviour. They're constantly being mollycoddled. They're constantly being protected from consequences of their poor decision making. And if you keep doing that, and keep punishing men for their bad decision and keep forgiving women for their bad decision, two things will happen. Men learn bad decisions have consequences and stop making bad decisions. Women learn bad decisions come with no consequences and will continue to make bad decisions. But the truth of the matter is that men start walking away from a bad decision which is getting with long term with a woman. And women sit there crying on their own because their bad decisions now all of a sudden, when it's too late to rectify, are finding out that their bad decisions really do have consequences, but they were never ever prepared for it. This is why women will argue with me about facts and statistics, that all I'm doing is giving them those facts and statistics and making some analysis from it and being able to put all of those jigsaw pieces together and present it to you, my brothers. So really, what is the end result from this? Well, for a start, you can only come to the conclusion that you have to stop forgiving women for making bad decisions. They have to start facing the consequences of their actions. Because if they don't, this is a slippery slope that's only going to end in one way. Men and women are never going to get together. Population crash. We are going to end up quite bitter societies in the West. And it might come to such a conclusion that women are going to be the losers in this race. You see, men run the world. We've built all of the infrastructure that women take for granted. We have done all of the hard graft and still do the hard graft. We do all of the hard work, the jobs. Another statistic, 97% of deaths in the workplace are men. That's because we do the dangerous, dirty, disgusting, everyday jobs that keep society running. What do you think would happen if men just said, I'm not doing it anymore. I'm going to be more like a woman. I'm going to choose what I want to do. Damn the consequences. Society would collapse. Women don't do the dirty things because that's their choice. Men do the dirty, disgusting, dangerous jobs because we know that's where the money is. We know that's how we can build a life for ourselves. 67% of university debt, college debt, is carried by women. That's over 2/3 of all of the college university debt is carried by women. So we know if we meet a woman who's been to university, she's probably already weighed down with debt that she's struggling to pay off, which means her credit is rubbish. But she'll look to a man to elevate her status. Economists, again, another source, can look at the amount of debt generally is being held in society, and again, over 60% of it is held by women through credit cards, loans, etc., etc., meaning that women make poor decisions when it comes to finance. But a woman will argue with you against that, saying, well, it's because of this or it's because of that. It's the fashion industry's forcing things upon me. You have the right to say no to any of that. Men do. Men decide, I can't afford those boots, I can't afford that jacket, I can't afford that, etc. But there is a similar one at a cheaper price that I can afford, and therefore it's within my means. This is why such high debt is carried by women, but they are constantly looking to men to improve their lot. Men are not taking it anymore. We're not stupid. We realise that marriage is a busted flush for men, and so are not entering to it. We realise that the court systems are favouring women, again stopping them having to face the consequences of their actions. Just 7 years to ruin your life. Why on earth would you want to get married when that's the average lifespan of a marriage? 80% of divorces instigated by women, 90% if they're college educated. The first marriage is around 31 years old for most women. By that time, they've already racked up the body count, something that men do not find appealing. We like youth, we like beauty, we like purity, and we like femininity. Every time a woman goes through a relationship and it breaks up, she becomes a little more masculine in her energy. A complete turn-off for men. You see this in, again, another great source for data, dating apps or websites. eHarmony showed that most women, again, not all, there are always exceptions. eHarmony showed that if a woman walks down the aisle a virgin, she's got an 80% chance of her marriage lasting. 80%, that's good odds. But if a woman has more than 5 sexual partners, that plummets to only 30% and drops down even lower with each sexual partner above 5. You start putting the pieces of the jigsaw together and you start saying, why would I want a long-term relationship with any woman? Unless she's young, she hasn't got the body count behind her. She's another piece of data, statistic shows that all men of all ages, irrespective of their age, all the way up until, one foot in the grave and the other on a bar of soap in their 90s, all find young women attractive. Young women, that is 18 to early 20s. So that's a woman's most desirable age. And she uses that to start racking up the body count. Instead of using that as what it used to be for women, those were her most productive years to nail down a future partner. But she uses those years now because she's been lied to by other women as though that's your time to have all the fun. This is why first marriages for women, the average age is 31 years old. If you look on things like TikTok, Hinge, Bumble, all of these dating websites, eHarmony, etc., they've been going long enough now that they can gather the data together and it comes up with some quite shocking statistics. But if you look at, say, just one, TikTok, which isn't necessarily a dating site, it's just like YouTube or Rumble, it's more of an upload site, but for short videos. If you have TikTok and you look at how women behave and act in their 20s, if you look at the videos there of 20 to 30-year-old women and the way they're behaving, it's all about, it's all about the grind and the hookup culture and jumping from this bed to that bed and, hey, I'm living the dream, hot girl summer, way! All of that nonsense in the 20s. Then you see the attitude change in the 30s. In the 30s, now all of a sudden she's starting to get serious about her life. Because women do know that by the time she's 30, she's got less eggs now than when she had in through her 20s. The biological clock is ticking so loud that she's worried other people can hear it. So she starts thinking long term. She starts thinking it's time to settle down. She starts thinking, I want a family. But the problem there is that she's almost ruined for long-term relationship, if not completely. Like I said, the data and statistics showing that 50% of marriages end in divorce, and that figure's going up. 80% of them are instigated by women, 90% if they're college educated. And the lifespan of most marriages is 7 years. That's no time at all. But women in their 30s have decided, I need to get myself a man, something long term. The trouble is there that she's experienced so many men by this time that her ideal man is an amalgamation of all of the men that failed in the relationship, all of the relationships she's had that have failed and damaged her mentally. After each one of them, she's become more masculine. But now she's using an amalgamation of all of these men, something picked from all of them, to put in her mind the ideal partner for her. So if she's dated a tall man and she liked that, I want a tall man. If she's dated a man who's wealthy and has been able to show her things she couldn't afford herself, she wants that. If she was dated a man who was particularly gifted in the bedroom, she wants that. If she dated a guy who was well hung in the bedroom and she enjoyed that feeling, she wants that. All the time, all of these things are narrowing down her opportunity for a man, because now her ideal man just doesn't exist. Women constantly want things that are opposing to each other. I want him to spend all of his time with me, give him all of my attention, but I also want him to be a rich businessman. Well, he didn't get to be a rich businessman by spending all of his time away from the business. He got that because he spent time grinding on his purpose. So you can either have his time or you can have the money that he earns. But you can't have both. You see how it is, the constant delusion, the emotional chaos that's in a woman's mind. So in her 30s, she's seriously looking for a life partner, not necessarily marriage, but a long-term commitment and hopefully children. But her aspirations and goals are so lofty and high that that's less likely to happen. So she wastes her 30s like she wasted her 20s, having the hot girl summer, and now in her 30s, definitely, I'm serious about, but still racking up the bodies, but she's definitely looking for something more long term. She wants to settle down and have a family. And because her goals are so lofty, so delusionally out of reach, she literally wastes her 30s looking for a unicorn. Unicorns don't exist. She's looking for that 1% man who's just going to sweep her off her feet like the Disney princess films that she grew up on. So now she gets to her 40s. So the 20s on TikTok, it's all about my grind and, hookup culture and, hey, I'm doing this and I'm at this place and I'm with this guy and that guy. And then in the 30s, I'm done with the hookup culture. I'm looking for a serious relationship. And now she hits her 40s. And do you know what they're saying in these TikTok videos in their 40s? All these lofty, I could get any man's in the 20s, to the 30s of, why can't I find the perfect man? Where have all the good men in their 30s? And then they hit the 40s. And all they're saying is, I just want somebody to be kind to me. Too late. You wasted all of that time. But you tell a woman this truth, and any woman who's watching this is probably now seething. Is probably saying, he doesn't know what he's talking about. It's men are the problem. No, it really isn't. Like I said, in the divorce statistics, it's not the men leaving the marriage. It's the women, quite literally ruining their marriages. And a lot of women regret that choice. They act in haste and regret at leisure, because so many places now have no-fault divorces. It's over quickly. It's filed, it's done, it's out, 6 months, gone. But it's probably 2 years down the line, she's thinking, why the hell did I file for divorce against a man who really did nothing wrong other than I became unhappy in the relationship, and instead of doing the hard work to make the marriage work, I decided to get divorced. And now I regret that decision, but he'll have nothing to do with me because I said some horrible things in that divorce to get the outcome I wanted. I did some outrageously bad things, and he's thinking to himself, why on earth would I ever get back with a woman who's already rejected me once, has taken a lot of my assets from me, who has treated me like trash for the last 2 years? And a lot of women are making videos, are going articles, newspapers, on TV, in films. They're portrayed in this way. I wish I'd never done that. I wish I'd never divorced the man I realised that I still love. But he wants nothing to do with her now. He's moved on. And he's bitter about how he was treated. Just 7 years of your life to have financial ruin almost. This happens so many times that is it any surprise that men's logical minds are saying, I want nothing to do with this. I want nothing to do with a long-term relationship. I want nothing to do with marriage. All I want is to occasionally get my todger wet. And if women weren't spreading their legs for men, that wouldn't happen either. But they are, because, hey, hot girl summer. Because a man can always choose a 20-year-old, 21, 22, 23-year-old woman rather than a woman his own age. And here's another statistic. Most women are young women are attracted to older men. Absolute fact. But you tell young women, older women that, and they'll argue it. That's because he's a creep. Oh, he's grooming it. She's an adult. How can you groom an adult? He's a creep for going for a younger woman. Basically trying to use the shame, insult, guilt and the need to be right to tell a man that he shouldn't be attracted to what he's attracted to. It's all a case of, you should take me. Well, no. You had your time. You were one of those girls when you were young being attracted to an older man. And now you're older yourself, you think those older men that the younger women are still attracted to should be attracted to you. That's not how it works. You are now facing the reality that if you'd have faced it younger, you would have the outcome you wanted, women. We men are not stupid. We can see the facts, the data, the statistics, and we can make our rational minds up on what, one, we find attractive, two, how to pursue what we find attractive, and three, to get the outcome we want, no matter how that looks, even if it's just carrying on with the hookup culture into our 50s. If that's what we want, we know we can achieve it because we've spent our whole lives achieving goals to make ourselves the prize. Women only bring their bodies to the table. So the older a woman gets, the less appealing her body becomes. When a man can choose, if he wishes, to pursue a younger woman who, by data and statistics, find him attractive. Women do not like truth bullets. They are like Neo in the Matrix, dodging and swiping and moving any way to avoid the truth. They are like a top athletic boxer in the Olympics, swinging around to make sure that they don't get hit by the truth. When in actual fact, if they were a little bit, in this one instance, like a man and accepted the truth, then that would benefit them. Men accept the truth. We get knockbacks by life all the time, and we accept it as a truth, and we become better because we accept the truth. I've often said, I didn't make the world, I just live in it. And that's how men move. Women seem to think that they make the world. They have very little impact on the world. The point of the matter I'm trying to make, if a man walks up to a woman in a bar, in any situation, and shoots his shot, he walks up to a woman, he says, hi, my name's Andy. Can I get you a drink or something? Now, one of two things can happen. She can either accept him or reject him, but the way that she rejects him will tell him a story. If she's kind about it and say, oh no thanks, I'm not interested, I'm waiting for whatever reason that lets him down gently, he is still rejected and he knows he's been rejected. So he walks away thinking, okay, fair enough, she wasn't for me because she wasn't interested in me. I can live with that. If she rejects him nastily, I'm so out of your league, who do you think you're talking to? Get away from me, little man. And just puts him down. He learns two lessons then. The first truth lesson is, she's not interested in me, just as he would have from the first encounter. The second one is, I was attracted to an absolute monster of a woman. She was a complete female dog. She was horrible. and he learns a lesson again. One, she isn't interested in me, and two, I'm not very good at picking women, so maybe I should stay away from that. And he becomes a little more jaded. And then women are going, why don't men approach women anymore? Because of that reason? Men learn. Men learn quickly. The truth hits us every day. And we're not stupid. We can work out what is and what isn't a good plan. So you women, you gobble down the lies told you usually by other women. And that's the terrible part of it is that if a woman puts on a bit of weight and she starts to feel insecure, she turns to her girlfriend. Do you think I've put on a bit of weight? Do you think I should lose the weight? And her friends will lie to her. No, you're beautiful as you are. You're great. What she doesn't realise, the truth bullet she's just dodged there is one, her friends are being nice to her instead of being kind to her. A man in front of his friends, a man will say, yeah, you're getting a bit chubby there, get yourself down the gym, who's going to find you attractive? Men help each other by being honest, whereas a woman will lie to her friends, or her friends will lie to her. No, you're beautiful, any man would be glad to be with you, oh, you're a goddess. And that's because you, lady, are her rival for the available men. She's not going to teach you how to win the game she's in. You don't teach the opposition how to beat you. You just go into the game. So it seems like she's being nice, but if she'd have been kind and told you the truth, you would have improved yourself, which meant that you were more of a threat to her in the dating game. So she lies to you, tells you, no, you're beautiful as you are. You shouldn't change a thing. That's not a nice thing to do. But women gobble it up because it means I don't have to do any work. I don't have to eat healthier. I don't have to go to the gym. I don't have to go walking or jogging or cycling or swimming or something to improve my body mass, to make myself more appealing. And then you're told, oh, if a man can't accept you as you are, he's not fit for you. That's more lie. But swallow it down because it means that you don't have to take any responsibility for the outcome. And then when you're rejected and you're getting older and you start to hit the wall, and then beyond the wall and into the geriatric pregnancy, when it finally the truth hits you, it's too late. You are now an on the shelf. You are now a leftover. You no longer have the sex appeal that you did have in your 20s. And there's another truth that once again women can't face. The older a woman gets, the more invisible she becomes. And this hits the most beautiful women the hardest. Those who haven't had to work at it when they were in their late teens, early 20s, those who were the stunningly beautiful without having to work at it, basically they won the lottery of life. Genetics were very kind to them. They became the most appealing woman to men. But they didn't cash that chip in early. They didn't manage to latch themselves onto a good prospect man. That they thought, oh no, 20s are for me, to go summer. And then got into the 30s and started to realise that the men in their 30s, who is one of the most desirable ages for younger women, were not getting picked by men their own age, because they were looking at the next generation coming up who were younger. Men aren't stupid. We know if a woman's younger, if she's feminine and fit, she's got less body count, less destructive behaviour, she's more likely to be able to cooperate with a man to build something. So this is why women avoid the truth, because the truth makes them face reality and is hard work to do something to improve their lot. Men face the truth on a daily basis, and we know it's a damn tough world out there. Women tend to get a free ride. Now, this will only change once we stop allowing women to act in a negative way without consequences. That's the only way any of this will change. And women are starting to realise more and more men are walking away from that relationship, are walking away from helping women even, are just saying, no, I want nothing to do with you. You go on your own way. You said you wanted independence, go and enjoy it, but leave me alone. And once again, women are turning around and saying men need to improve. No, I'm sorry, that's just not the case. Anyway, do you agree with me? If so, leave it down in the comments below. Do you disagree with me? Leave it down in the comments below. If nothing else, give the video a like, because the video likes and so do I, and it helps the channel. And if you've watched a few of these videos and are not yet subscribed, please hit the subscribe button. Don't forget to hit the bell notification, that way you don't miss out on future content, and you don't want to miss out. If nothing else, thank you for watching the video. Leave me a comment. Tell me what you think. Am I on the right tracks? Am I doing good by you, my brothers? Anyway, I'm going for a cup of tea because, well, I think I've earned one. You, my brothers out there, you take care of yourselves, because if you don't, who will? Well, me probably, because I'm trying to help you now. Anyway, I'll talk to you soon. Bye now.